Welcome back to the channel. This is Nikki2Jobs. Today I'm going to be ranking engineering positions within the manufacturing and industrial sectors in terms of difficulty for third-party recruiters to seek out and fill. If you like this video, please subscribe to the channel. My goal is to get 500 subscribers. We got a long way to go, but I know with your help, we can make it happen. Let's get into it. I want to start by saying no matter where any of these positions get ranked, they're great positions to pursue and great positions to have. This list is primarily going over a ranking for third-party recruiters in terms of accessibility, ease of understanding, how likely you may be to fill one of these positions, and how available they are in the market. For those of you who may be unfamiliar with tier lists, I'll start by going over the rankings here. So S tier obviously is above A. It's the best it can be. A is great. B is going to be right down the middle. C is going to be where it starts getting a little challenging. And then D is going to be where I don't necessarily recommend trying to fill these roles because of the complexity or difficulty associated with filling. We'll start with controls engineers. Controls engineers have the biggest crossover with software engineering. They're folks that are going to actually be doing programming, but instead of programming like web applications or things like that, they're programming automation systems for manufacturing processes. So think about a machine that's helping build a car in an assembly line. That machine has to be programmed in order to function in a certain way, and a controls engineer is going to be the person doing that. They're also going to be maintaining those systems to make sure they're functioning properly. You may see them also called automation engineers. They're going to be working with a couple different programs. I'm not going to go too in-depth with it. The complexity of understanding the job from a recruiting perspective isn't necessarily that challenging. So I would put these positions in the S category. Companies need them in order to keep their production going. So they're very sought after. And with all of the layoffs in the tech industry, this is kind of a side note, but I think that a lot of software engineers might find it useful to try to pivot to working as a controls engineer. Next, we're going to get to design engineers. Design engineers can do electrical work, mechanical work, they can design factory layouts. There can be a lot of different applications to design engineers. I think that mechanical design engineers are the easiest positions to fill from a recruiter's perspective out of all the design engineer archetypes. I would put design engineers in the A category because there's a good candidate pool of folks that can do this job. However, in terms of hireability, there's portfolio that the company wants to look at, stuff that can actually be shown. Sometimes it takes more gathering of information in order to present these candidates and vet them by your client. Chemical engineers are very similar to manufacturing engineers, but focus primarily on plants that work on chemicals. Chemical engineers are going to be primarily focused on how to make the best economical process for the production of different chemicals that a company may be making. I'm going to put chemical engineers in the B tier because chemical engineers can actually work manufacturing engineer jobs that are outside of chemical engineers. However, because chemical engineering is a little bit more of a niche archetype, I'm going to put them in B because the availability of the positions aren't going to be as frequent as a flat-out manufacturing engineer, and the talent pool isn't going to be as large because it's specific to chemicals. Electrical engineering is extremely complex and involved, so it takes a lot of research to understand what the different responsibilities of different electrical engineers are. Based on the complexity of the positions, I would say electrical engineers are going to be on the more difficult side to fill because there's going to be a lot of trial and error. It's going to maybe hurt your reputation a little bit with the client, and because of that, they're going to go in the D category. From a recruiting perspective, they're going to be more difficult to fill than the other positions. Mechanical engineers aren't that difficult to understand what they do. It's typically you have to understand the product in which the company makes. Essentially, what a mechanical engineer is doing is designing the machines that are making the product that the company is building. I'm going to put mechanical engineers in the A tier above design engineers because there isn't as much of the portfolio and that type of vetting. It's more so, have they worked on the type of products that the company is making in the past? So really, you're just trying to compare like to like their experience with what product your client actually produces. Industrial engineers try to find ways to eliminate waste within the production process. So understanding the complexity of their role isn't too challenging. You're primarily, again, trying to link up their prior experience with the type of products that your client creates. The candidate pool isn't going to be scarce. I'm going to put them in A above mechanical engineers because I like trying to fill industrial engineer positions. It's mainly trying to match up the experience with what your client does. Process engineers are going to be very similar to industrial engineers, except for process engineers are looking for ways where they can enhance operational performance that's more environmental based. Can we use less materials for producing the products that we're making? If we can, how so? I would say they're a pretty low complexity in terms of understanding from a recruiter's perspective, and I would put them above industrial engineers in terms of finding these types of candidates and being able to fill positions. Manufacturing engineers are similar to process and industrial. However, they're going to be more focused on cost cutting. Is there a different type of machinery that we can be using? Is there a different order on our production line in order to cut costs while keeping our product quality as good as it was before? Manufacturing engineers, in terms of complexity, are similar to process and industrial engineers as well. They follow the same trend of, if they have been a manufacturing engineer in the same industry that your client works in, then likely there'll be a match for what they're looking for. I'm going to put manufacturing engineers up in the S category because I would say that manufacturing engineers are going to be one of the easier positions to try to fill. Finding cost-cutting ways to improve production is something that can be quantified. It's something that can easily be discussed in an interview process. If you can find someone with a proven track record that they saved their prior companies money in their production processes, that's going to be extremely valuable to your client, and it's going to be much easier to fill the position. Quality engineers are actually one of my favorite positions to fill. There are several indicators for quality engineers that are going to make it easier to fill the position. There's different certifications, there's different methodologies of quality engineering that your candidates will need to know in order to properly perform their function at your client's factory. That provides a recruiter like ourselves to be able to directly seek out those types of certifications, those types of quality processes, to make sure that you are finding the right type of quality engineer for your client, whether it's in the medical device field, the automotive field, or any other type of manufacturing or industrial field. Each of these different fields has specific quality standards that they have to live up to, and those are going to be easily searchable terms in order to find the right candidates. I'm going to put quality engineers in S tier at the top right now, specifically for that reason. And it stands out from the other different types of engineers. The quality engineer's position is very defined, which makes it easier to fill these positions. Lastly, we have structural engineers. Structural engineers are going to be more focused on things like if the company is making metals, support beams, construction companies will look for structural engineers. They're going to have a really solid understanding of physics to make sure that the company is able to meet standards for what their product is able to deliver to their customers. The complexity of understanding isn't extremely difficult. That being said, it is more of a niche position compared to the rest. I just don't think if you're looking to try to pick up a high volume of positions within these sectors, structural engineers are going to be the best for you to look for based on the demand of these positions. So this has been my ranking of engineering positions within the manufacturing and industrial spaces. I'd love to hear your feedback in the comments. Just another disclaimer, all of these positions are going to be great to try to look for. There's a lot of manufacturing and industrial positions open right now in the United States. So as a third-party recruiter, you should be looking for all these different types of positions. However, judging the ease of filling these roles, this is where I would rank them. If you like this video, please subscribe to the channel. I'm trying to get 500 subscribers. We're not super close to that yet, but I know with your help we can get there. I've been enjoying making these. I hope you've been enjoying watching them. We'll see you soon for the next one. Take care.